Garrison Comstock with Garrison Team Real Estate, and today is your market update for June of 2021. And we're going to talk housing bubble stuff today. We're going to talk the biggest group of purchasers in the history of the United States today. A lot of good stuff. So let's get into it. This is the South Bay housing market update. I'm going to share my screen with you here. I'm going to go into present mode here. There we go. So June. So here's the stats. Like we look at these every single week, or sorry, every month. And we've got less closed sales this month than last month. And by the way, April and May are generally the largest sales months of the year. And then we decrease through June and July a little bit and pop back up towards the end of the year a little bit. But as you see, we had more new listings this month than last month. Not as many closings, but more pending. So just maybe some are taking longer. Once again, those could be appraisal issues that happen in the transaction. Obviously, if prices go so high that the appraised values have not caught up yet, it takes a little bit longer. And we've seen that happen. If you're looking at closed comparables for appraised value, you're too far in the past because there's been 2 or 3 sales since then that have gone up. And you're basically jumping properties at this point. So that's what we're seeing here. Months of supply is the same, 1.5 months. I'm going to go into how short that is later. But in general, 4 to 6 months is a healthy 3% appreciation market. 1.5 months is nothing. We don't have enough supply. And if you talk to anybody looking to buy or sell this year, they're all telling you that, hey, there's nothing to see. There's nothing to buy. And when we do get into an offer, there's 20 offers because there's nothing to buy and everybody's trying to buy the same properties. The effort contingent of folks has really gone up the past 2 months. We were at about 101% for 6-7 months straight for percentage of list price to selling price. Then we jumped up to 103% last month in April, and in May stats 104%. So like the hey, we need to get a property now contingent, let's just submit an offer and do it. That has really increased in the past month. And that's because folks are looking at the same statistics that I'm looking at, and they realize that prices aren't coming down anytime soon. And we're going to get into some stats, some quotes from some of the big financial institutions out there here in a second. Days on market, 7. These are staying considerably lower. One, because of coming soon that we've had, and if you saw that when I got quoted in the LA Times article, it was about coming soon marketing. We don't accrue days on market on coming soon marketing. So we can market the property for a week, 2 weeks, however long we want, and then hit it active, start showing it, show it for 4 or 5 days, and then sell it right on. So that's why days on market has been so low. So here's the months of inventory sheet. And I've shown I don't have it here with me today, but I've looked at months of inventory in the South Bay over the past 6 years before, and we haven't been in the South Bay, we haven't been over 3 in 6 years. So we've had low inventory forever. However, this year it's even lower. Right now in the South Bay, we're at 1.5. This is a national statistic here, National Association of Realtors stat. So 2.4 nationwide, everybody's low, but we're even lower here in the South Bay. It's not good. It means that many buyers with ultra buyer demand are fighting over the same properties and prices are going up. But it is so low that I've shown the statistic in the past that even if 350,000 or so listings hit the market tomorrow, we would still have less listings than we did last June or last January. Like we're so far beneath what we need that it's just not healthy. So home pricing forecasts. So looking at those stats and knowing what we see going forward, that we'll get into here in a second, most big forecasters are saying we're going up. Like the lowest of the forecasts, Freddie Mac, the most conservative, is another 6% appreciation for the rest of the year. By the way, these have all raised. Like the January projection is probably like 4% here and 5% here. Now we've got the first couple months and they're finally getting with the program. Like it doesn't look like it's changing anytime soon. 10% by the end of the year for the MBA. So average is 8.2. Prices are still going up to the end of the year. Well, why? in general, Morgan Stanley's chief strategist thinks that it's not a bubble. Bubble's a bad word to me. I don't think it exists. But in general, we're not suggesting the home price appreciation will maintain its current pace, but they will continue to rise more gradually or more gradually, less intense. So when I hear clients tell me, hey, I'm going to wait till it slows down, my response is, well, that's fine. Sure, you'll be competing against 3 offers instead of 15 offers, but that doesn't mean that prices are getting any better. So between now and December, prices may have gone up 6%. And yeah, you're competing against less then, but you're paying a higher price. Prices aren't coming down. You're just not competing as hard. So sure, if you want that, if you want to pay more, wait. That's general advice right now. Looking back at the bubble years, housing prices exceeded house buying power in 2006 nationally, but today house buying power is nearly twice as high as the median sale price nationally. Many find it hard to believe, but housing is actually undervalued in most markets. The gap between house buying power and sales prices indicates there's room for further house price growth in the months to come. That's Mark Fleming from First American. And he's right. And this is a good way to put it. Good way to put it what I've been telling my clients here for the past few years, especially the past year. Look, I know prices are high, but houses are still affordable in these high price ranges. And the housing affordability, take a look at this graph here, is composed of interest rates for payments, the median household income in the area, and home prices. So considering how much people make in that area and the interest rates and what the payments for those interest rates are in the home prices, how affordable are these homes? Well, they're historically affordable right now. So, and it's hard for me to explain this to certain clients, especially clients when I just meet them and it's on the phone or something, and they're like, "How home prices are, high," and I say, "Well, home prices are high, but interest rates are so low that it's still affordable." I mean, why do you think home prices continuously rise, and why do you think home buyers are still able to purchase properties at these home prices with 20 offers on them if folks couldn't afford them? If people couldn't afford these homes, they wouldn't be selling and the prices wouldn't be going up. So this is distressed properties. This is when prices were incredibly low. So even in some of those distressed properties, we still more affordable to buy today than it was then. And then this is leading up to the big craze, because prices were crazy, interest rates were still high, and people were just speculatively buying. So it's a good graph to look at. It's just forget about price, interest rate, median income. Those are what matters. And I wanted to put this on here because this is really important. If you're delaying buying because you're not getting your perfect property, you're getting less wealthy by the day. This is rent, 1990 to 2020. You can see that even in 2008, 2009, 2010, it really didn't decrease. Rent doesn't really go down. And it's skyrocketed as we have this inventory crunch here in the past few years. And it's just still going up. So every year that you pay rent and you're not paying a mortgage, obviously you're not gaining the wealth of owning the property. So this is a good quote from Mike Lofton. We need to stop seeing housing as a reward for financial success and instead see it as a critical tool that can facilitate financial success. Affordable home ownership is not the capstone of economic well-being, it is the cornerstone. I agree with this 100%. I tell many of my clients that, look, if you really want to buy your first property as your dream home and you want to wait until you can afford that $1.5 million property in our area, that's fine. Buy something else now, though, and that'll help you get to that $1.5 million property quicker. Buy an investment property. The first property that I ever bought was in Long Beach. I didn't live in it a single day of my life, but that property has helped me do so many other things. So buy something, because the way prices are rising and they will continue to rise, that's wealth that you could have as a buyer if you have the ability to purchase something. You don't have to purchase your dream home. I just wanted to show this because this number right here. 38% of all homes are owned free and clear. Part of the reason that we don't have a housing crisis on our hands is people can reach into their equity. And it's also part of the reason we don't think that's going to happen. Because look, if you own a home, ask anybody you know who's owned a home in the last year. Everybody's refinanced at the lowest rates in the history of mankind. That means all the people that you know and everybody who owns a home who has refinanced now has the lowest costing loan in the history of mankind at whatever price point they are, whether it be 500,000, a million, $1.5 million, 2 million, whatever their loan is. They're paying the least amount of money for that loan in the history of mankind now. So it's great. And then people that don't have a loan, 40% almost, don't even have one. So they're using that and they're buying second properties and on and on and on. And that creates an inventory crisis. Home buyers, interest rates are still historically low, though they're inching up. Housing prices have spiked during the past 6 to 9 months. We don't expect them to fall soon. It's from JP Morgan. And we believe they're more likely to keep rising. Finally, if you're looking to purchase a new home, conditions now may be better than 12 months hence. Those who remember the housing bubble of 2006-2007 may be nervous watching the housing prices soar now, but the previous bubble was fueled by speculative buying, which we do not think is the case today. Yeah, it's affordable buying. Look, we still have all the rules in place that the government imposed post-2008 to make sure that never happens again. If you've bought a house or talked to somebody who's bought a house in the past 10 years, you got to jump through a million hoops to buy it. Everybody who's gotten one completely deserves it or can afford it, has proven it 10 ways from Sunday that they can afford it. So there's no bubble going on, and 12 months from now, it's just going to be worse. We might have a little more inventory, but prices are going to be higher. There are reasons to believe that this is likely to be an unusually long and strong housing expansion. Demand is very strong because the biggest demographic cohort in history, which I have a graph on, is moving through the household formation and peak home buying stages of its life cycle. Coronavirus-related preferences have changed, also sharply boosted some home buying demand. At the same time, supply is unusually tight, with available homes for sale at record low levels. Double-digit price gains are rationing the supply. Simple supply and demand. There's no supply, there's tons of demand, home prices are going up. But this. So the baby boomers were the largest generation of people in the history of the United States. And now, as you can see, the millennials are larger. You see this peak here. All of these people, this is the wrong graph, actually. I see that I got on here. I have a marking on another graph that I had previously on here. But this group right here moving this way, moving to the left, this is all the millennials that are turning like 32, 33 years old this year. So the difference between a 31-year-old millennial and the difference between a 35-year-old millennial in terms of getting married, having a kid, buying a house is like there's between 15% and 85%. The average age to get married, have a kid, buy a house is 33 years old right now. So here's your demand. Right here, moving this way, boom, more demand of people turning 33, getting married, having a kid, buy a house. Boom, more demand, more demand, more demand, more demand, all the way down to you get about here. It's the next like 5 to 8 years. There's going to be significant demand for housing, which is why we project prices will continue to rise because the demand is always going to be there. The question is, can we get some supply, please? Strong demand for housing looks sustainable even before the pandemic. Demographic tailwinds and historically low mortgage rates had pushed demand to high levels. Consumer surveys indicate that household buying intentions are now the highest in 20 years. As a result, the model projects double-digit price gains both this year and next. That's from Goldman Sachs. Unlike 15 years ago, the euphoria in today's home prices comes down to the simple logic of supply and demand. And we at Morgan Stanley conclude that this time and sector is on a sustainably sturdy foundation. Robust demand and highly challenged supply, along with tight mortgage lending standards, may continue to bode well for home prices. Higher interest rates and post-pandemic moves could likely slow the pace, but the upward trajectory remains very much on course. And look, if interest rates rise, yes, some demand might falter. But that'll also make homeowners not want to sell their home, because therefore their next home, they're going to have a higher interest rate. Everybody refinanced. So we may go from 10% appreciation a year, which, by the way, might have been more than that the last year. We might go from that to 6%. That's great, but it's still 6% appreciation. Prices are not coming down anytime soon, and the market will just be worse a year from now, and a year from now, and a year from now. So that is your June market update here specifically for the South Bay. Thanks a lot for coming. I'll see you next time.
Hey, thank you so much for watching my video and on this channel. If you're on YouTube, please don't forget to like and subscribe so you get more videos like this and more videos that are South Bay specific on Redondo Beach and the rest of the South Bay. Also, you can find me at Sold by Garrison on both Facebook and Instagram. And you can also email me at garrison@soldbygarrison.com. I look forward to speaking with you in the future. Thanks again. I'll see you next time.